So what is AG1 all about? Is it a good supplement to have? Do you really need to take it? And what are some things to consider about the product in general? AG1 is probably one of the more popular kind of marketed type supplements out there. It's marketed as something that gives you energy, immunity, also from a gut health standpoint. The goal today is to give you the information from a physiology standpoint, an evidence-based standpoint, not the marketing. So to help you dissect those two and understand a little bit better. Who am I? My name is Michael Fouts. I'm a registered dietitian, and one of the goals while working with clients is helping them distill nutrition information in a way that's simple, practical, and helps them understand what nutrition practices they should apply for themselves. So what is it? It's a greens powder that's marketed as a kind of multivitamin or vitamin and mineral supplement. It also has things called probiotics, we'll go over that in a sec, and digestive enzymes, well in this case just one, and also has something called adaptogens and herbs. So we'll kind of get into some details about both those things, but with most recommendations for how to take this product is you're gonna take a scoop with your kind of cold water in the morning, and you're gonna do it on an empty stomach just to help kind of with the absorption process. So there's lots of vitamins and minerals. There is vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, also B complex vitamins ranging from kind of B1 to B12, and it has some minerals as well. So your zinc, selenium, copper, and chromium. So if we take a closer look at what the actual ingredient list looks like, you'll see at the top there's the ACE. So those are your kind of your common antioxidant type vitamins. You have the B complex, which range from thiamine to B12, B7. And then towards the bottom there we have some of the minerals. So zinc, selenium, copper, manganese, and chromium. And what you'll see is a lot of the B complex are pretty high concentration, so 100% would be your daily recommended intake, and almost all those are above that. And then C and E are quite high as well, but they have a pretty high upper limit. So when it comes to taking these vitamins in high quantities, it's not that big of a deal, whereas vitamin A is something you want to be a little bit cautious with, which is why in this case it's only 62%. So then adaptogens and herbs, my first criticism is that it's in proprietary blend. We don't know exactly what concentrations these kind of products or ingredients are within this kind of blend. We know it's there, we know it exists, but so some of the adaptogens and herbs examples would be ashwagandha, rhodiola rosea, licorice root. All these things can have an effect, but the problem, at least my criticism, is in order to have some kind of effect, you need a certain kind of concentration or dose. But we don't know what that dose is because it's in this proprietary blend. And then also there's these probiotics, and in this case, just one digestive enzyme. Probiotics, for those that don't know what it is it's bacteria that's good for gut health. They're active bacteria that you would use, and they can have a beneficial effect in some cases. It's mostly seen kind of post broad spectrum antibiotic use, so to kind of restore that natural gut flora. But once again, because it's proprietary blend, we don't know exactly how much of each is there. We know from kind of the nutrition facts label that it's 7.2 billion CFUs. We know that that's the total of both of them, but we don't know in kind of what ratio. And then in terms of digestive enzyme, if you remember back to what the typical intake of AG1 is, it's taken in the morning on an empty stomach. Criticism there is that in order for the digestive enzyme to work, you need to be taking it ahead of food, or kind of in and around that time that you're going to consume food, so that you can actually work, because your body's not going to store digestive enzymes. And usually what happens is when you ingest food, your body uses the enzyme and then gets rid of it. So it's kind of, you're using it, in and around food. So to take it in the morning ahead of time, it's not going to do a lot. I kind of put together a brief score for some of his main claims. So the whole gut health, I scored it at probably a B-. It's, it might help, and for some people it might even make it worse. And then from an energy standpoint, it's probably not going to give you more energy if you're already getting enough B vitamins. So B vitamins, they're something used as a way to help get the energy out of food that we eat. Food is the energy, but if you already have enough B vitamins, having more is not going to give you more energy. And then from an immunity standpoint, it's kind of a C. Really just the only thing involved there is zinc. And then from a filling nutrient gap standpoint, a lot of people will take multivitamins as kind of we'll call it an insurance policy, just so that they make sure they kind of cover their bases nutritionally. And in this case, AG1 is missing some key things. It doesn't have any vitamin D, calcium, iron. In terms of trying to cover your nutritional bases, I don't think it's the best product for that. Who might benefit? Probably someone that is very low in fruit and vegetable intake. If they have inconsistent meals, so they don't have some kind of nutrition being spread throughout the day. Could be a short-term bridge to maybe developing some habits to getting some better nutrition. And who's likely to not benefit is someone who has a balanced diet, someone who has regular fruit and vegetable intake, and or someone who's already kind of strategically supplementing. The main criticisms I have of AG1 is the first one is just fat solubility. It has vitamins in it, so vitamins A and E in particular. Those are fat soluble. You're going to be mixing that with water in the morning and with no food. That's the typical recommendation. What ends up happening is those fat soluble vitamins, they're not going to dissolve very well and they're not going to absorb very well because of that. The second criticism is proprietary blend. We don't know what we're getting. In order to get some kind of effective dose response from whatever it is that we're having, we need to know how much we're putting in to get desired effect. Next is ongoing versus acute use. There are some ingredients in AG1 that can have an effective dose, but the problem is sometimes you want to have these things acutely, meaning for say a few weeks at a time, but not to take them every day kind of for the rest of your life. One example is ashwagandha. It's been known to help with the stress response, but it's usually meant to be taken kind of intermittently and kind of around stressful times, not to be taken every day. Another thing is that digestive enzymes need to be taken with food or close to it to be effective. So if you're having one digestive enzyme that's with this product in the morning, it's not going to help you at lunch, in the afternoon, or at supper. Also, it's not really an insurance policy like other multivitamins. A lot of multivitamins out there are a little more kind of, I guess, diverse, or they have more things in it that might be typically lacking in someone's diet. And I'm always a fan of food first as opposed to supplementation. You're going to develop some nutrition skills, meaning you're going to find some ways to incorporate some of these healthier foods for you so that you can have some of these micronutrients, these minerals in your diet on a regular basis, as opposed to having to just rely on this pill that if you don't have it, then you kind of don't have the nutrition in your diet. And then lastly, cost is something to consider. You're looking at around 90 to 120 bucks a month. And if you take that kind of same approach from a multivitamins or greens, maybe you're looking at something 15 to 40. Comparison of just a multivitamin, or a greens type supplement versus AG1, it's almost 3 times the price. So the key takeaways is it's not necessary for most people. It can help in maybe specific cases, maybe short-term use, but long-term it's not something I'm a big fan of. And personally, it's just not something I recommend to most clients from a cost standpoint, and food first is always my approach. If we need to use supplements, then we kind of assess it on a case-by-case basis. Overall, I don't think it's a great supplement to be taken for kind of all the reasons I've talked about. Thanks for watching. If you want to join conversations like this live and ask questions during and after, feel free to join our free school group, which is the Nutrition and Fitness Collective.